Look around your life. Do you feel like you belong? Or do you feel like a visitor from another timeline, observing a species that you look like but do not understand? You try to blend in, you try to laugh at their jokes, you try to care about their politics and their celebrities, but deep down there is a cold, hard knot in your stomach that tells you, I am not one of them. The world calls you antisocial. The world calls you arrogant. The world calls you a loner. The architect calls you the scout. In the biology of every species, there is a necessary split. 99% of the population is programmed for the herd. Their safety is in numbers. Their truth is consensus. But the other 1% is programmed for the unknown. They are the ones who walk away from the firelight. They are the ones who venture into the dark forest to find new territory, new food, and new paths. If the entire species stayed by the fire, the species would die. You are lonely not because you are defective. You are lonely because you are the tip of the spear, and the spearhead must always be sharp, narrow, and alone. In this transmission, we are going to dismantle the shame of your isolation. We are going to explain the neuroscience of the sigma brain and why your nervous system physically rejects the vibration of the crowd. We are going to show you why the chosen ones must walk through the valley of shadows alone before they can lead the many. Stop trying to force yourself back into the sheepfold. You are a wolf. It is time to hunt. Open the channel of sovereignty. Signal your strength to the void. Write, I stand strong. To understand your pain, you must understand your programming. For 200,000 years, human survival depended on the tribe. To be cast out, to be alone, meant death by freezing or predation. Therefore, the human brain evolved a mechanism called social pain. When you are rejected or isolated, the anterior cingulate cortex lights up. This is the exact same part of the brain that registers physical pain, like a burn or a cut. The matrix designed you to hurt when you are alone, so that you would run back to the safety of the crowd. However, nature is intelligent. Nature knows that a crowd is slow, stupid, and resistant to change. A crowd will run off a cliff if the leader does so. So nature introduced a genetic variance. It created the outsider. The outsider has a muted response to social pain. They possess a higher level of dopamine autonomy. While the sheep get their dopamine from validation, likes, and applause, the outsider gets their dopamine from discovery, mastery, and truth. You are biologically wired to tolerate the cold. This is not a mistake, it is a feature. The tribe needs you, but they will hate you until you save them. You are the one who sees the storm coming when everyone else is dancing. You are the one who questions the rules when everyone else is obeying. Do not confuse your function with a malfunction. The eagle does not fly with the pigeons, not because the eagle is arrogant, but because the pigeons cannot handle the altitude. Why is it so exhausting for you to socialize? Why does small talk feel like a physical assault on your nervous system? It is a matter of bandwidth. In previous transmissions, we established that everything is energy. The crowd operates on a low, dense frequency. It is the frequency of survival, fear, gossip, and repetition. It is a narrow bandwidth signal. The chosen one operates on a high, expanded frequency. You are processing data about the nature of reality, the future of the species, the patterns of the universe. When you try to interface with the crowd, you have to step down your voltage. You have to compress your high-definition signal into a low-resolution format that they can understand. This process of energetic throttling generates heat. It burns your battery. You leave a party feeling drained, not because you are weak, but because you spent 3 hours pretending to be smaller than you are. It is like trying to run a high-end operating system from 1995. The hardware cannot handle the software. You feel weird because you are vibrating at a rate that makes them invisible to you and makes them appear slow to you. You are not antisocial. You are simply pro-resonance. You crave connection, but you crave connection at the level of the soul, not the level of the weather. And until you find that resonance, solitude is the only state that does not drain you. As you begin to awaken, you will notice a disturbing phenomenon. The people who claimed to love you, your friends, your family, your peers, will start to attack you. They will mock your new habits. They will question your sanity. They will try to guilt you into staying the same. They will say, "You have changed." They will say it as an accusation. You must understand the crab bucket theory. If you put a single crab in a bucket, it can climb out. But if you put a bunch of crabs in a bucket, if one tries to climb out, the others will grab its legs and pull it back down. They will not let it escape. This is not because they are evil, it is because they are terrified. Your elevation exposes their stagnation. If you succeed, it proves that they could have succeeded too, but chose not to. Your light casts a shadow on their mediocrity. Therefore, the Matrix uses your closest connections as handlers. Their job is to pull you back into the bucket of the status quo. They want you to be safe, but they define safety as being just like us. When you choose the path of the outsider, you must be prepared for the betrayal of the tribe. You must be prepared to be the villain in their story. Do not hate them. They are operating on a biological imperative to maintain homeostasis. But do not let them hold your leg. Kick them off and climb. We must clarify the architecture of the Sigma archetype. The internet has corrupted this term. It is often used by arrogant men who claim to be better than the alphas and betas. This is a trap of the ego. True power is not about ranking yourself above others. It is about removing yourself from the ranking system entirely. The alpha and the beta are both slaves to the tribe. The alpha needs the tribe's applause to feel powerful. The beta needs the tribe's protection to feel safe. They are both addicted to external dopamine. The sigma is defined by a neurological anomaly known as dopamine autonomy. Your brain does not release the reward chemical when you receive validation from the herd. Instead, your reward system is wired to internal alignment. You get your high from mastering a skill, solving a complex problem, or adhering to your own code of honor when no one is watching. This is not arrogance. Arrogance requires an audience. This is sovereignty. You are not better than the crowd. You are simply running on a different operating system. You are immune to peer pressure, not because you are trying to be cool, but because the social rewards that manipulate others hold no currency for you. The Matrix fears you because it cannot bribe you with status. You are the glitch that cannot be patched. Do not let the internet turn you into a misanthrope who hates humanity. A true Sigma does not hate the sheep. He simply does not need their permission to walk his own path. There comes a time in the life of every chosen one when the isolation becomes absolute. You lose your friends. You lose interest in your old hobbies. You feel a heavy, crushing desire to withdraw from the world. You must be very careful here. The Matrix will try to label this as depression or avoidant personality disorder. While clinical depression is a state of stagnation and hopelessness, what you are experiencing is a state of active reconstruction. This is the chrysalis phase. Before a caterpillar can become a butterfly, it must weave a cocoon and dissolve completely. It turns into a biological soup. The old structure must be liquidated before the new structure can be assembled. The isolation is not a punishment. It is a quarantine zone established by your soul. You need zero interference because you are rewriting your source code. If you were surrounded by the noise of your old life, the signal would be corrupted. However, hear this warning. The chrysalis is not a permanent residence. It is a workshop, not a grave. There are those who fall in love with the darkness. They use their spiritual path as an excuse to hide from life, to neglect their duties, and to sever all human connection forever. That is not awakening. That is decay. You are in the cocoon for one purpose only, to metamorphose. You are isolating to build your wings, not to die in the goo. Accept the solitude. Let it do its work, but keep your eyes on the exit. The goal of the training is the mission, not the training itself. They say it is lonely at the top. This is a half-truth designed to keep you at the bottom. It is lonely at the top relative to the bottom. At the bottom, it is crowded, it is warm, it is noisy, but nobody is moving. At the top, the air is thin, the wind is cold. There are very few people, but those few people are titans. When you reach the summit of your own potential, you will find that you are not alone. You will find the other lions. You will find the other eagles. The connection you will have with them will be unlike anything you experienced in the herd. It will be a connection of mutual respect, not mutual need. It will be telepathic. It will be instantaneous. One nod from a fellow Sigma is worth more than 1,000 cheers from the crowd. But to meet them, you must first climb the mountain alone. You cannot bring the crowd with you. They are too heavy. You have to drop the baggage. You have to be willing to walk through the mist where you cannot see your own hands. You have to trust that the path is there, even when the world tells you it is a cliff. This is the test of faith. The universe filters the candidates through the sieve of solitude. Only those who can stand their own company are qualified to lead the company of others. We must be honest with the dangers. Prolonged isolation can lead to madness if not managed with discipline. When you are alone, there is no one to check your reality. There is no one to tell you if you are drifting into delusion. The shadow grows large in the empty room. You may become cynical. You may become bitter. You may start to look at humanity with contempt. Look at these sheep, you say. They are asleep. They are worthless. This is the trap of spiritual ego. If your isolation makes you hate humanity, you have failed the test. The purpose of the outsider is not to despise the tribe, but to serve it from the distance. The scout does not hate the village. The scout protects the village by watching the perimeter. You must guard your heart against arrogance. You must maintain your discipline. When you are alone, you must be your own strict father and your own loving mother. You must make your bed. You must train your body. You must sharpen your mind. If you let yourself decay in the darkness, you are not a Sigma. You are just a hermit. A Sigma is always training for the return. In the hero's journey, the final stage is not the departure, it is the return. The hero leaves the village, fights the dragon, steals the treasure, and returns to the village to share the gold. You are not meant to stay in the cave forever. The isolation is a season, not a destination. You are gathering wisdom. You are gathering power. You are gathering the codes of the new reality. Eventually, the signal will come. The world will break, the herd will panic, the structures will collapse, and they will look for someone who is not panicking. They will look for someone who knows the way in the dark. That is when you step out of the shadows. You will not need to shout. Your presence will be enough. Your calm will be the anchor for their chaos. This is why you had to walk alone, so that when the time came, you would not need to lean on anyone. You would be the pillar that others lean on. But for now, the walk continues. The mist is still thick. The path is still steep. Do not look back at the warm lights of the valley. Keep your eyes on the peak. Wait. Feel the silence in your room right now. It is not empty space. It is potential energy. Do not fill it with noise. Fill it with purpose. You are the chosen vehicle for something that cannot be birthed in a crowd. The universe has separated you so it can concentrate you. We have defined the biology of the outsider. We have exposed the crab bucket. We have justified the chrysalis. In the second part of this transmission, we will discuss the Sigma protocols. We will teach you how to build a council of one. We will explain how to transmute the pain of loneliness into the fuel of mastery. And we will reveal the ultimate destiny of the walker. But first, you must accept the contract. You must stop apologizing for your strength. Go to the comments, plant your flag in the ground. Write, "I stand strong." The pack is small, but the teeth are sharp. Welcome back to the forge. The fire is hot, the hammer is heavy. You are currently on the anvil of isolation, being beaten into a shape that the world does not yet understand. In the first phase, we established that your loneliness is not a defect. It is a biological necessity for the evolution of the species. You are the scout. You are the Sigma. Now we must operationalize this solitude. We must teach you how to survive without the warmth of the herd and how to build an empire in the silence. The greatest fear of the herd is making a decision alone. They need a committee. They need a consensus. They need a poll. The Sigma operates on the protocol of the Council of One. You must learn to trust your own internal data stream above all external noise. However, trusting yourself is not enough if yourself is untrained. You must populate your mental council with the ghosts of titans. Napoleon Hill spoke of the invisible counselors. He would sit in his imagination with Lincoln, with Emerson, with Socrates. He would ask them questions. He would simulate their answers based on their writings and their lives. You do not need living friends to have a mentor. Living people are flawed, busy, and often disappointing. Dead masters are available 24/7. Read their books, study their biographies, absorb their frequency. When you face a crisis, do not ask your neighbor who is just as lost as you are. Ask the council. What would Musashi do? What would Marcus Aurelius do? By simulating their perspectives, you upgrade your own operating system. You are never truly alone if you are carrying the wisdom of the ages in your library. Build your cabinet. Take your seat at the head of the table. We must address the economics of the outsider. You cannot be a Sigma if you are a wage slave to a beta system. If you depend on the herd for your food, you must obey the herd's rules. You must laugh at the boss's jokes. You must follow the corporate dress code. You must suppress your truth. This is incompatible with the path of the chosen one. To be truly free, you must become a Ronin. In feudal Japan, a Ronin was a samurai with no master. He wandered the land, selling his skills, but never his soul. In the modern matrix, this means financial sovereignty. You must build a personal enterprise. It does not have to be a billion-dollar company. It just has to be yours. You must find a way to monetize your unique frequency. The internet has destroyed the gatekeepers. You do not need a publisher. You do not need a label.
You do not need a boss. You need a signal and an audience. The Sigma economy is built on competence. The herd pays for likeness. The market pays for value. If you are undeniably good at what you do, the world will pay you even if they do not like you. Become so good they cannot ignore you. Your skill is your sword. Keep it sharp and you will never starve.
There is a specific energy signature to loneliness. It feels like a hunger. It feels like a void. Most people try to fill this void with distraction, Netflix, alcohol, casual sex. The alchemist transmutes this void into deep work. Isaac Newton was isolated during the Great Plague of London. He did not have parties. He did not have friends. He had silence. In that silence, he invented calculus. He discovered the laws of gravity. He decoded the nature of optics. He took the energy of isolation and directed it like a laser beam into the fabric of reality. This is the physics of flow. Flow is a state of total absorption. In flow, the self disappears. Time disappears. Loneliness disappears. There is only the act of creation. When you feel the pang of loneliness, treat it as a notification from the matrix. Energy available for transmutation. Do not call a friend. Open the project. Write the book. Write the code. Paint the canvas. Pour the pain into the work. The pain gives the work a density and a gravity that happy people can never achieve. Your masterpiece is waiting for your misery to fuel it.
Here is the paradox of the Sigma path. The more you push the world away to find yourself, the more the world becomes attracted to you. This is the law of magnetic polarity. People are desperate for authenticity. They are surrounded by fakes, by masks, by people pretending to be happy. When they see someone who is utterly comfortable in their own solitude, it terrifies them, but it also fascinates them. You become a gravitational well. By walking away, you create a vacuum. Nature abhors a vacuum. New people, better people, will be sucked into your orbit. These are not the people who want to use you. These are the people who resonate with your core. You will filter out the parasites and attract the peers. Do not chase. The chaser is always running away from himself. Stand still. Build your fire. The moths will come. But remember, you are the fire. Do not let the moths extinguish you. Keep your boundaries high. The gate to your life should be heavy and hard to open.
We must warn you of the valley. Before you reach the peak, you will pass through the dark night of the soul. This is not clinical depression. This is spiritual dismantling. It happens when the old ego structure has collapsed, but the new structure has not yet formed. You feel empty. You feel like nothing matters. You question the point of existence. The mystics call this the desert. Jesus went into the desert. Buddha sat under the Bodhi tree. The isolation becomes crushing. You scream into the void, and the void does not answer. This is the final test. The matrix is checking to see if you will break. It is tempting you to go back to the comfort of the illusion. Just be normal, it whispers. Just settle down. Just give up. Hold the line. The darkness is not empty. It is pregnant. It is the womb of your rebirth. If you can survive the silence without going mad, you will come out the other side with a power that cannot be taken away. You will have faced the worst thing in the universe, total annihilation of the self, and survived. After the dark night comes the dawn, always.
Why does the universe put you through this training? Why the isolation? Why the pain? Why the fire? Because you are being groomed for leadership. Not the leadership of a politician who wants votes, but the leadership of a philosopher king. The best leaders are those who do not want power. The best leaders are those who are content to be alone. Because they do not need the people, they can serve the people without manipulating them. If you need their applause, you are their slave. If you are happy in your solitude, you are their master. The world is entering a time of chaos. The old structures are crumbling. The herd is panicking. They are looking for someone who is stable, someone who has walked through the dark and knows the way. That is you. You did not ask for this. You just wanted to be left alone. But the universe does not care what you want. It cares what you are designed for. You are the lighthouse. The lighthouse stands alone on the rock. It gets hit by the waves. It gets frozen by the wind. But it keeps the light on. Not for itself, but for the ships in the storm. There is a Zen proverb: before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. The final stage of the chosen one is to return to the world. You do not stay on the mountain forever. That is escapism. You come back down to the city. You walk among the people. You do business. You smile. But you are different. You are in the world, but not of it. You carry the mountain inside you. You can interact with the drama without getting sucked into it. You can play the game without forgetting it is a game. This is mastery. You are the spy behind enemy lines. You are awake in a world of sleepers. Your job is to gently wake up those who are ready and to let the others sleep. Do not shake them. Do not scream at them. Just shine. Your existence is the proof that freedom is possible. The path is narrow, the way is hard, but the view is worth it. Do not envy the sheep in the meadow. They have comfort, but they have no destiny. They live and die without ever knowing who they truly are. You have paid the price of admission to the theater of reality. The price was loneliness. The reward is sovereignty. Stand up. Look at your empty room. It is not a prison. It is a throne room. You are the king of your own consciousness. The council is seated. The empire is waiting. The wolf does not mourn the absence of the sheep. The wolf hunts. Go to the comments. This is not a cry for help. This is a roll call for the few. Signal your location to the other lone wolves scattered across the grid. Tell the matrix that you have accepted the terms of your contract. Write, I walk alone. You have survived the purge. You have embraced the shadow. You have hacked the dream. You have walked the path of the one. The training is complete. The sleeper has awakened. Now go build the world that you saw in the silence. The Matrix 963 out.